Welcome to Enjoy Your Life, the podcast, where faith meets purpose and joy becomes your reality. I'm your host, Farrah, mom, mentor, and serial entrepreneur, here to remind you that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Enjoy Your Life, the podcast. I'm your host, Farrah. Today, we are joined by a very special woman who is fierce and powerful, both in ministry as well as in her industry. I'm going to introduce you to her in just a moment, but make sure that you share this with somebody because good friends don't let friends not hear good podcasts. Without further ado, say hello to my girl, Alise Moore. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm so excited to have you. You're a licensed therapist, a recording artist, and you received your master's degree in social work from Howard University. Woo, woo.
Woo, woo.
After you embarked on your dual career in mental health and music, which I think is incredible. Growing up in ministry, kind of your family was in ministry, you were in ministry, you navigated that intersection of faith and music and personal growth, which we're going to talk more about today. Beyond the counseling arena, which I think is incredible, you find solace in artistic expression. You've toured with Grammy award-winning artists and created music of your own. And your journey, I believe, is really marked by service, both in your local and global church. So as you're working with leaders and creatives, you are really passionate about bridging the gap between the spiritual and the psychological. So I'm really thrilled to dive deeper here with you today. But I want to know, how are you feeling with all that's been said? How do you feel? You're so remarkable.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I adore you. I think that you are all wonderful things. Okay. So it is a pleasure to be here on your platform today. How do I feel? That is such a good question. I am tired. Okay, no.
Tell the truth, share the devil.
No, listen, I was talking to my sister of mine earlier today, and I was like, she said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I'm so encouraged, and I need a nap." Okay,
yes.
I'm grateful for everything that God is allowing me to do, for all the things that are happening, all the stars that are aligning, and also holding space for two truths to be true at the same time, that it is exhausting pursuing your dreams, but it is fulfilling.
Amen. I love that. And that just speaks to your honesty. I think maybe your industry plays a lot into that, but like you said, two things can be true at the exact same time. I think we pursue our passion and we think that it's going to be easy, smooth sailing from there, but it does come with a lot of other things. And I'm excited that you brought that up because we're going to dive deeper into that today. So talk to us about your journey. What prompted you to pursue the field of counseling?
That's a good question. So I grew up in a ministry family, PK. I am, I believe, 5 generations in of pastoral kid, I want to say. Okay. So it is embedded in my DNA. It is deep. Ministry is deep in my system. And while it's beautiful, it comes with a lot of great opportunities and experiences and learning and all that good stuff. It also everything has a dark side to it, right? Yeah. And so growing up in ministry, I saw so much, I heard so much, I was exposed to quite a bit, some things that probably were way above my pay grade and maturity level. Right. However, the space still required certain things, that I would hear and listen to. And so it was, what year was this? 2018. I was in college, and my grandmother just passed away. My grandfather was declining in his health as well. And my mom, I took a break from school and moved up to Detroit with my mom and my brother to be a caregiver to my grandfather. And in that time, everything paused. Everything got really quiet, got very still. And I was able to see, I took a break from music and school at the same time. I was able to see the dysfunction. Now, my grandfather was a presiding bishop, very loved, admired, respected man. And there was a lot of dysfunction in my extended family that while I was privy to in some regards, of course, growing up, I didn't really see it until I was up close in the mix of things. And I was like, oh, such a powerful, anointed, called man can have such a broken family in some regards. And God showed me the pieces that I had also, the things that I had also experiencing, and how, if not checked, if not brought to the throne of grace, if not worked through, I would end up in a lot of the same resentment, bitterness, pain, brokenness, X, Y, and Z that some of my loved ones were experiencing and were living through. And so I always knew that there was something. I knew I was called to people. I didn't fully know what that meant or exactly what that looked like. I knew it was beyond the pulpit. I knew it was beyond necessarily the church, but I knew I was called to people. And so it was that experience, that really still season of my life, that God allowed my pieces to start coming together. And he really dropped in my spirit, okay, let's look at therapy. So after that is when I actually got into therapy myself. And all the pieces really just kind of came together. So it's a culmination of a lot of things, really. But that is kind of the story, the thing that really pushed me into that part of my purpose. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious because I too am a PK. I'm only 3 generations deep though, girl. You got me by 2 gens. But I know, like, coming from a ministry family, growing up, therapy was very taboo. So not only were you like, okay, I need to explore this for myself, but to be pursuing a career in that world, what did that look like? If you're comfortable talking about it from your family's perspective, were they receptive? Was there a little bit of pushback? What was that like?
So when I first decided to do therapy, I got asked, are you okay? What's wrong?
Yes.
And it was full of concern. It wasn't, I don't think it was from a space of intentional judgment, even though it was absolutely judgment. But there was definitely a layer because, like you said, it's so taboo. It is, and especially in our spaces, we have known it's either therapy or it's Jesus. It's medication or it's deliverance. It is not both. You cannot do both at the same time. And so me going to therapy definitely challenged the status quo. It definitely, it was not necessarily the easiest road, but with the grace of God, my journey in therapy was so transformative that it was a testimony in and of itself of the work I was doing.
Wow.
So over time, I remember my mom, I don't remember, I don't know when this was, but I remember it was maybe a year or 2 in to me doing my own therapy. My mom was like, she said, that therapy thing really is working for you.
Wow.
And I don't think I doubt she remembers this, but I said, what do you mean? She says, I can just tell, like, you're different in a good way. You're just different. And I was like, huh. And then it started trickling. Then one of my brothers said the same thing, and they didn't know. It wasn't like a conversation we were all having. No, it was just, I was getting this validation of sorts of my journey, even though when I originally started it, I was definitely looked at a little funny.
Yes. And isn't that how it usually goes with the trailblazers of the family? You know, I always tell my dad that I'm like, you're a trailblazer, you know, you're embarking on a path that no one has ever traveled. And so they also can't understand it, you know, and so you have to just go with God and do it his way, you know, and then after that, everybody follows. But what I think is interesting, though, from a church and therapy perspective, a lot of people encourage premarital counseling and don't realize that's really the same thing, but just in a couple setting. And I always think about how much more productive something like premarital counseling would be if you yourself go to therapy first, get some of that stuff figured out, you know, and then pursue it together.
Yes. Agreed.
But I'm curious to know, as you were going through this journey, what were some of the things that made you find your own sense of worthiness or wholeness, both in Christ and grounding yourself as a woman?
That's a great, great, great question. Now, this is not one of those lessons that you learn overnight. This is one of those things that definitely a lot of practice and a lot of failure. But I would say I had to learn that peace did not come from performance.
Oh, man. Say that again.
I really, and I had to for myself, I really had to learn that peace did not come from, and it was not performance. Yeah. Good. And I think I don't want to blame this necessarily on being a PK or growing up in church, but I do think that how I was brought up, there is, we have such a drive. You know what I'm talking about? There's such a drive to not fail. And not just in the sense of fail with life, but the ministry success is on our shoulders, right? Oh my God.
Absolutely.
And the pressure to, if you singing, if you ushering, if you doing whatever the case is, you learn it's really a subconscious, the core belief that we develop that if I don't show up at 100, then this whole thing crashes and burns. And so we learn to take on so much responsibility. And instead of allowing ourselves to live and operate out of this authentic space, we become performers. I learned how to perform. The reason I can do my artistry, one of the reasons I can, is because I learned in church. I know how to get a rise out of you. I know how to talk to you. I know how I learned my swag, my aura. You know what I'm saying? A lot in church performance. And so we get so enmeshed with the idea of performing. It becomes who we are. And we're wondering, why don't I have any peace? Why can't I sleep? Why is it that everything I pursue, I check off all these things on all the boxes. They're getting checked off. Why don't I have any joy or peace in it? Why am I not satisfied? Because you become enmeshed with performing. And so that has been one of the big things that God has really been kind of helping me undo this season.
Man. And that's a big one. I was talking to my sister recently about, growing up in ministry from a ministry family. And sometimes it's not even the family, but it's the church that the people.
For sure.
But we often put this thing off on each other about pleasing one another more than pleasing God. So when you sin, I'm offended by your sin. I'm offended that you messed up. I'm offended that you went and did something you shouldn't have done. But what does God think about it? And I said, it's interesting that God's mercies are renewed every day. But we hold things against ourselves and we hold things against each other. And back to that concept of performance, we're going home crying at night, but still showing up with a smile and greeting you and shaking hands and doing all these things, but we're still broken within ourselves. So I want to talk about that validation. How do we start the process of no longer seeking that validation from people? How do we start to become okay with ourselves without, whether or not they like it, whether or not they're satisfied?
That's so good. That's so good. Okay. So there's one thing I want to say before I get fully into the answer. I don't want us to demonize validation. Validation is healthy. It is normal. It is what we need as humans to operate.
That's so good.
And also the issue comes in when we are overly reliant on validation. When we start, what I say to patients, when we start over reassurance seeking.
Man.
So it's not necessarily me calling you, hey girl, what you think about my outfit? Do I look good? I'm not necessarily talking about that. It's this desire that we have that until I heard it from this person, or this group, until I get that nod from them, I don't know if I am doing what is good or what's right, or if I'm aligned. And what I did a cohort earlier this year, and one of the things that I talked to them heavily about was understanding outer influence versus inner intuition, and the necessity to really develop and lean into our inner intuition so that we are not waiting for the voices, the affirmation, the validation from people who have no power or they have nothing. They're not controlling anything concerning your route. Nothing. Wow. They don't got nothing to do with what God is calling you to. And so we get caught up in this cycle because we also feel like, how do I say that? We get caught in the validation cycle because we've become so accustomed to the feeling that we have to earn love.
Oh my God.
Earn a place, that we have to earn this sense of belonging. And so until we can break that cycle, until we can get out of that dump, we're going to constantly stay in this cycle of validation, whether it's from our parents, from partners, from spiritual leaders, from coworkers, from bosses, from whoever the case is.
Oh my God.
And to be fair, I'm sorry, I don't want to overtalk. But to be fair,
keep talking, girl, because you're preaching today.
To be fair, Black women especially, validation has become a survival mechanism and strategy. We have it is what we've had to do to endure so many of you're a Black woman, you know what I'm saying? It's what we've had to learn to endure so much mess. It's what we learned to lean into to survive.
Wow. That's so good. And I think too, yes, definitely as Black women, as women in general, and in this generation with social media, we're constantly seeing what everybody else is doing. I was live the other day, and I was talking about how back in the day, our parents got married at 15 and 16 and 18 years old, or our grandparents, and then they just stayed together. Yeah. And now we have this problem of wandering eyes and cheating and jealousy and all this stuff. But I'm like, they didn't have any other options except the people that was in the neighborhood. So they got together and they stayed together.
They didn't have as many options.
They didn't have as many options. And now we have all these options, and we have the ability to go in our mind and fantasize about the possibility of somebody that don't even want you, right? And I think it's the same way with our identity and our validation. Is we go on Instagram and we say, well, she looks like this, or he looks like that, or well, he said he likes this type of girl and I want to be that type of girl. And we constantly, if we're not careful, are putting this deeper layer of validation or the need for it in an unhealthy way when it ain't even that deep, because you really don't know what people are doing to go beyond, and edit themselves and make themselves look a little skinnier and all this other stuff, There's nothing wrong with the way you want to edit your photos, but
ain't nothing wrong with it.
We mess up when we look for the. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because if people don't know their values, they don't know what their why is. You don't know what you're doing any of this for. Man, you will never be grounded enough to not shapeshift when you enter to other rooms, other spaces, other energies. We don't know ourselves. We don't know our why. And so every time we get around these new energies, into these new rooms and at these new tables, we try to become what we think they need us to be or what we think they want us to be. And you are missing out on the blessings that God has for you because you can't walk in your own identity. You're wanting these people's validation so bad. There's already a version of that out there. They invited you into this room and to that table because they needed you.
Jesus. Where can we book you to come preach? Put the booking link in the notes. Because Dr. S. Alise Moore has a word for the people. For the body of Christ. Do your preaching, girl. I love that. And you're absolutely right. If you don't know who you are, if you're not grounded in that, you're going to shapeshift. That is I love the way you put that. Shape-shifting. You go into this room and you're one thing. You go over here and you're another thing because you don't know who you are.
And you're exhausted at the end of the day. Because you haven't walked in any of your truth all day long.
My God. Oh.
You were tired.
Wow.
You were worn out.
Jesus.
By the time you get back home. Because who have you been all day? You've been
Jesus. Oh my God. She's coming.
I'm sorry. I say this with love. So much love.
Wow, but you're not lying. And that's the thing. We need truth. And that's what this is all about. So in this era of self-healing and self-love, how do you reconcile the concepts of finding completeness in Christ without crossing into self-centeredness and pride? Because we get a little into ourselves, and that's good, right? We need that. But how do we not overdo it where now it's all about me and I'm not really thinking about what Christ wants from me? Like I've healed, I've done all the work, I'm better for it. Now I'm stepping on other people because, they hurt me in the past and I'm over that. I'm beyond that now. Yeah. How do we avoid that?
This is about to be very spiritual answer. Self-love without surrender becomes self-worship.
Say it again, Alise. Say it again.
Self-love without surrendering becomes self-worship.
Wow.
But also self-neglect is not holiness either.
Wow.
There is a formula understanding God's love for us when we take the time to love ourselves deeply. I think I don't think we define self-love well. I think that we've confused it with, we've made material things and spending money on ourselves, self-love. And don't get me wrong, go for it, sis. Get that bag. Go get that massage. You know what I'm saying? I do not demonize or criticize those things at all. But that
you're right.
itself is not self-love. You taking you spending $6,000, dropping $6,000 on this new drop. Okay, cool. Are you any more rested though after you got the bag?
Jesus.
You get what I'm saying? Wow. Are you any more rested? You booked the trip to take a vacation, but all you did was content. You didn't even live in the moment. Did you come back more rested than you did when you were when you left? Wow. And I think we have to, this is so crazy. I appreciate that you're asking me this because this is really the season. Like this year has been God shaking me up on some, hey, you're not taking care of yourself. And I didn't realize that my neglect of myself was me hating myself. I was so focused, going back to that performance mentality of performing and showing up and looking the part and making sure that my content was this way and making sure that my courses was this way and making sure that my outer appearance was all the way together. I looked the part. I sounded the part. I've done the school and I've done all this stuff to sound amazing, but I was so empty and exhausted inside. And I felt when it was time to rest, it made me feel like I was behind or I was losing out on something. Wow. And God really convicted me. And he really sat me down for a couple months where he was like, I don't want you to, until I tell you to post, don't post. Like, you know how, think about us. You know how hard that is. Until I tell you to post.
Wow. Jesus.
And I'm not talking about just cute pictures. I'm talking about, it's ideas. I got ideas all day. Like, ooh, I need to share this. No. Until I tell you to speak, be quiet. I need you to rest. What did rest look like for me? God literally, I know that's going to sound funny, but God literally convicted me. Why are you staying up all night? Man. You got to get up bright early in the morning and you have to talk and pour into people all day long. What are you pouring from? You're exhausted. You up because you're editing stuff. What are you doing for your body? Are you moving it? Are you working out? And I don't mean in the sense of, we got to get a trainer. No. Are you moving your body?
Yeah.
Are you sitting at your desk all day? You laying on the couch all day? Are you feeding your spirit? Are you feeding your mind? Are you pushing yourself? That was rest. Are you setting your future self up for success? Oof. Are you reading so that when you speak, you sound like you have something in you?
So good.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, when I started really pouring into me, and I'm not, like I said, to be very clear, I'm not talking about the material things. When I started pouring into me, my being, it recalibrated everything.
Man.
And so self-love is sacred.
Ooh.
Self-love is holy.
So good. So
Self-love
good.
is necessary. Self-love is godliness. The more that you can take care of yourself, the easier. There's a clarity that you get to the Father and hearing Him when you allow yourself to pour into you.
My God.
Because the better you love yourself, the more you understand how well God loves you.
Wow. Girl.
So yeah, it wears me out with the saints, the people who are like, oh, I gotta live this life of misery and just go and don't take care of myself, don't eat right, don't. We have so many unhealthy Christians. So many in every way. We have so many unhealthy Christians, and it's like, God wanted you to prioritize you, right?
Man.
You over here prioritizing everybody else, all the other stuff. You trying to keep up. Who you keeping up with? You gonna burn out before you even get to your destiny.
Keeping up with people that keeping up with somebody else. So don't nobody know who they are, where they're going, or what they up to. I'm keeping up with you. I was keeping up with you.
Your destiny needs a rested version of you.
Man.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Go touch some grass. Get off your phone.
Yes.
Turn your phone on D&D.
This is so good. Girl, you and me both. I know this when I go to text you. You're on D&D. But this is exactly where I am right now. A lot of the women we've been talking to. So you're on the money. This is exactly what God has been dealing with all of the women that I've been talking to on this podcast and through this conference we're working on. So he knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew what he was doing. Yeah. I want you to address the woman who's listening, who feels like she's constantly giving and proving and performing in order to be loved. What truth or practice would you encourage her to start embracing today who she is and walking in her truth?
First thing I would say is discover your values. Sit down, get your journal out. What are your values? What are they? Make sure that everything that you are doing, all of the goals that you create, make sure that they are stemming from your value system. If we really take the time to sit down and look at the stuff that we're doing, half of the things that we do not actually align with our values. Truly, they align with people pleasing. They align with trying to be good enough, trying to keep up, all of the things we've already talked about. Make sure that all the things that you are, the dreams that you are embarking on, make sure they are aligned with your values. That will save you so much energy. Now, I'm not saying it's so easy, but it's going to save you the unnecessary energy that you don't have to expend.
Wow.
Do that. Start there. And then remind yourself that you do not have to earn what already belongs to you. Love, acceptance, all of those things already are yours. Wow. Now, we go through seasons where it feels like we don't have people in our corner. It feels like we don't have a strong support system. That's human. We all go through those very stripping, silent seasons, and it's a lot. But just because you're not getting people's approval does not mean that you are out of the will of God. So get comfortable with the discomfort of silent seasons. Get comfortable with it. Become okay with your phone not going crazy. Become okay with, you might not be getting as many engagements right now. Be okay with, the feelings of, did I lose touch? Am I no longer hot?
Not hot.
Get comfortable with that. You are in transformation.
Man.
And if we can get comfortable in those seasons that are a little sticky, they are uncomfortable, we can get comfortable with God and ourselves in those seasons. When he brings you back out of your hiding or your that cocoon, whatever you want to call it, you're going to be so much more at peace with the people he sends you.
Wow. That is so good. So, and I think I love what you said about values, because I think that even applies to relationships. We sometimes get in relationships because we're attracted to the person, or, we happen to be in some of the same groups, but by the time you've taken the time to evaluate what you want and what they want, it doesn't align. But that's because you hadn't already sat down and determined that. You didn't already decide, well, what do I value? So now you're in a situation where you're stuck because this is how you want to see your family and this is how he wants to see his family. But you guys are already too far in love that it's hard to get out. But if you sit down and you identify those values now, even friendships, you will save a lot of time, heartbreak, and headache, because you know what you believe and what you stand for and what you want. Those become your non-negotiables. And then you're not going to settle for less than that. You're not going to allow people to treat you any kind of way and do any kind of thing, because it's like, that doesn't even align with the place that I'm going. That doesn't align with the person I want to be or what God showed me my destiny was. So absolutely, that's an incredible first step, because it's going to cover all grounds.
Yes. And slow down. It's okay. You are not in a race against anyone.
I love it.
You're not even in a race against yourself. Just let God's timing take over. You got it. Stay the course, be diligent, but breathe. So we forget to breathe through it. Rest. Those are the things.
Wow. I love it. Alise, this has been an absolute joy. You know that I love you, and this is a long overdue. So I'm happy that we finally got to make this happen. Tell the people how they can stay connected with you. If there's anything that they can purchase or any way they can work with you one-on-one, spill the tea, tell us all of the things.
So all social media, officially Alise. Stay tuned with that. I have a book coming out first quarter, and I have some new music dropping very soon. Everything is actually coming out first quarter. Okay. So just, if you follow me, you'll be able to stay tuned. I'm also opening my books up first quarter. So if there's been some people that are like, we need to work, I need to have my one-on-ones, give me a minute. I will have those books open and pop in top of the year. So that's that.
Yes. Well, y'all go get connected with my girl, go follow her, and keep an eye out for Q1 so that you can get all of her things that she has coming. This has been another episode of Enjoy Your Life, the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of the things. And we'll see you in the next one. I love you, and God loves you so much more. God bless.